Okay, this lesson is really nothing you haven't seen before. This is the same stuff, except we are now dividing 3-digit numbers. Everything stays the same. It's still divide, multiply, then subtract, bring it on down and bring it on back. And then you do it not twice, but 3 times. Okay? So really, the most trouble that you'll probably have with this is just remembering what to do next. So let's practice with 378 divided by 3. And one thing that you can do if you're feeling super freaked out and overwhelmed by having 3 numbers at a time, cover it. All I'm doing right now is 3 divided by 3. How many times can 3 go into 3? Once, because 1 times 3 is
3.
and 3 minus 3 is
0.
Okay, now I'm going to slide my paper over, bring down my 7. 3 is now going into 7. 3 can go into 7 2 times because 2 times 3 is
6.
and 7 minus 6 is, start over again, bring it down and bring it back. 3 can go into 18
6.
because 6 times 3 is 18 and 18 minus 18 is 0. So this is the exact same steps. Divide, multiply, then subtract, bring it on down, bring it on back. Divide, multiply, then subtract, bring it on down, bring it on back. Divide, multiply, subtract, we're done. So all it is doing it one more time. That's it. But what will happen is you'll get to this part right here and you'll forget everything. Your brain will fail you. Everything you've ever learned will disappear and you will have a mild panic attack that makes you want to go in the corner of the room and rock back and forth while crying silently. That's okay. That's okay. It happens to the best of us. When that happens, you take a deep breath. You remember, all I'm doing is the same thing over and over again. This is a pattern. If I were to keep writing this, divide, multiply, then subtract, bring it on down and bring it on back. Divide, multiply, then subtract, bring it on down and bring it on back. I'm doing that over and over and over again until I have nothing left to divide. Meaning, can 3 go into 0? No, so it means I'm done. Or if I had a remainder of 2 or 1, can 3 go into 2 or 1? No. Is there anything else to bring down? No. Do I have even more space or a line to write a number on? No, so I'm done. It's okay if we forget. The more we practice, the better we get. So let's try another one. 658 divided by 2. If it helps you, you can cover it. I'm going to do this one uncovered so you can just see the process. First, 2 can go into 6 3 times because 3 times 2 is 6. And 6 minus 6 is
0.
Bring down my 5. Do not bring down that 8. You are only bringing down one number at a time. Every number has to take their turn. Okay? So can 2 go into 5? Yes, 2 times because 2 times 2 is 4. And 5 minus 4 is 1. And now it's the 8's turn. Bring it down. Now I'm making 2 go into 18. Because 9 times 2 is 18. Now, there's something I want to show you. Let's do 525 divided by 5. 5 can go into 5? Once, because 1 times 5 is 5. And 5 minus 5 is 0. And then I bring down my 2. Can 5 go into 2? Yes, it can. How many times can 5 go into 2? 0. You cannot forget that 0 is still a number. And 5 can go into 2. It can go into 2 0 times. What happens here is your brain's either going to have a little panic attack again, or it's going to go, oh, well, 5 can't go into 2, so I'm going to bring this 5 down and turn it into 25. Not yet. Not yet. 5 can go into 2 0 times because 0 times 5 is 0. And 2 minus 0 is 2. Now I bring down the 5. What could happen is you go, oh no, it can't go in. So I'm going to put, because 5 can go into 25 5 times. Some of you might just want to put that 5 in the tens place instead of the ones place. Because it can't go into 2, so I move it over to 25. The steps are correct. Yes, that 2 will have to turn into a 25. But I have to show that representation that the 0 is there. That 5 cannot go into 2. Okay? Now, another thing I want to make clear is long division has a certain level of mental math, but most problems still always have to be written out like this. Do you always have to have arrows? No. But do not sit there and try and do this in your head. Those are way too many numbers to try and keep track of. You'll wind up making a silly mistake and then getting frustrated with it. There are some division problems that we can mentally solve without showing any work. Those problems look like this. 48 divided by 2. 2 can go into 4 2 times. 2 can go into 8 4 times. No problem. Or what about 93 divided by 3? 3 can go into 9 3 times. 3 can go into 1 time. That you can do mentally, even if it is a longer number. If I have 663 divided by 3, 3 goes into 6 twice, 3 goes into 6 twice, 3 goes into 3 once. So that you can do mentally. Sometimes you'll get one that you can halfway do mentally. Like what if it was 665 divided by 3? Well, 3 can go into 6 twice, and 3 can go into 6 twice because I know my facts for that. 3 can only go in once, and then I can just quickly do 5 minus 3 is 2, remainder 2. So there are some shortcuts that you can take. But here's where this right here can get you. What if my number was 763 divided by 3? Can I go, oh, well, 3 goes into 6 twice and 3 goes into 3 once. Now I just got to do this part. No. That's where you are going to get all messed up. Because the minute you have to start doing the subtraction and moving numbers around and changing them up, it changes what these two become. So in reality, 3 can go into 7 twice because 2 times 3 is 6. And 7 minus 6 is 1. Drop down that 6. 3 can go into 16. How many times?
5 times.
5 times. So can't do that too. It's actually a 5 because 5 times 3 is 15. And 16 minus 15 is 1. Bring down that 3. 3 can go into 13.
4 times.
Not 1. 4 times. Now 4 times 3 is 12. And 13 minus 12 is 1. So only when the first number is a multiple can you do it this way. Okay? And only do it when you are feeling like you are just rocking it and you know what you're doing. If we're still figuring this out and practicing it, cool, great, do all the steps. But you know I'm always going to show you different ways to solve it when you hit your different levels. Okay? So let's do 2 more together and then you're on your own. Alrighty? So let's do 658. Oh, we already did that. Let's do 954 divided by 4. Okay, tell me what to do.
4 goes into 9 twice.
4 goes into 9 twice because...
2 times 4 is 8, and 9 minus 8 is 1.
Okay, then...
Drop down 5.
Well, up. You're going too fast now. Do it together, please. So now 4 is going into 15.
3 times.
Because...
3 times 4 is 12.
And...
15 minus 12 is 3. Drop down the 4.
Drop down the 4. Now what am I asking?
How many times can 4 go into 34?
How many times can 4 go into 34?
8 times.
Why? 8.
8 times 4 is 32.
8 times 4 is 32. And
34 minus 32 is 2. Remainder 2.
so there's my remainder. And again, remember, your divisor will tell you how close your remainder should be. If I'm dealing with a 4 or if I'm dealing with a 3, then my remainder is either going to be, for 4, it's either going to be a 3, a 2, a 1, or a 0. It'll never be more than 4. If you ever find that you have a remainder that is larger than your divisor, you have to start all over again. Well, not all over again, but you got to find where you made that mistake. One number was too low. You skipped one. Never let that remainder get any higher than your divisor. Okay? We feeling good?
Yes.
All right, this is all practice. All this is doing it over and over and over again. That's all it is. When you forget what to do, say the rhyme to yourself. Use these arrows, draw them, show that I am doing this now. I am doing that one now. That will tell you what you're dividing into. It will tell you which one you've dropped, which one you haven't dropped. It helps keep you organized, and it helps keeps you on top of your pattern. Because it really is, it's just a pattern, repeating it over again. And sometimes we get a little tongue-tied and we miss a step in the pattern and we got to go back and fix it. But when you come across a problem that you feel like you've messed up on, just take a deep breath, go back, and say it to yourself. Okay, so divide, multiply, then subtract, bring it on down and bring it on back. Okay, so that's where I am. So now I'm going to divide again. Okay? You just got to remember the pattern.